Keith. I wanted to make a video and show you the process that I go through to prepare a rings blue gun for the purpose of molding a Kydex holster. Now before I get started, I just want to say that this video is in no shape, form, or fashion a knock on Rings blue guns. Rings makes these blue guns for the purpose of them being a training device. They don't make them with the intended purpose of people taking them and molding Kydex holsters with them. So there's a few things that need to be done prior to molding a holster to ensure that you get proper fit and function out of your holster. So let me get the camera turned around and everything set up, and I'll show you the process that I go through to prepare a blue gun. Also, before I get too far in this, I just want to say that the guys that have been making holsters for a while, this video is, you're probably not going to learn anything new from this. You're probably already doing these steps. But if you're just starting out, this video is more for you. It just kind of shows you some stuff that I've learned along the way, not only just learning experiences from myself, but watching other holster makers here on YouTube. So this is more for the earlier stage holster maker than someone who has been doing it for a while. Alright guys, so here we go. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using Glock blue guns, since everybody's pretty much familiar with those. I've got a 17, a 19, and a 26. And I've got one kind of already mocked up a little bit here to kind of speed the process along. But I want to show you one that is not ready, and one that is close to being ready for the process of molding a holster. And also, to show the differences, I also have a actual Glock 19. So, now, when I first got the blue guns, of course I wanted to know how correct they were dimensionally in relation to a real Glock. So I measured the width of a actual Glock 19. Come around the camera here. And you can see here that it is right at 1 inch, give or take a couple thousandths. And then, just to see what Glock said, I downloaded the dimensions off of their website. Now if you do that, they're going to tell you that the width of a Glock 19, now this is straight from their website, is 1.18 inches wide. Now, if you use some calipers here, and like I showed you, this measures right at 1 inch. However, if we bring it out to 1.18, give or take a couple thousandths, you can see the gap there. Now why in the world they're advertising that the width of a Glock 19 is 1.18, I don't know, when the actual width is 1 inch. Now that's going to be a big difference if you don't have a weapon to measure prior to making your holster, and you just go off the dimensions that a factory is providing, and those dimensions happen to be wrong, well then your holster is going to be wrong. And the reason it's important to ensure that the width of this blue gun is wide enough is because, well, it's not as big a deal on that two-piece holster, because the two-piece holster is going to flex on the top and bottom and open equally throughout the holster. However, if you make a holster that is closed on the top and opened on the bottom, when it goes to flex as you reholster or draw the gun, the bottom will move a lot more in relation to what the top is going to. And if you've not properly accounted for the width of this slide, if it's 20 or 30 thousandths under what it's supposed to be, you're going to create a lot more friction on the top of this slide and create undue stress when drawing and reholstering. Now, I showed you the Glock 19, the actual Glock 19. Now let's take a look at one of the blue guns. You can see that this gun is almost 25 thousandths undersized. Now granted, 25 thousandths is not much. Let me get it set up here. Right here is 25 thousandths, if you can see that. Like I said, that's not much, but if you don't take that into consideration and you're making a one-piece holster, you're liable to run into some problems with retention and then also with drawing and reholstering the weapon. So what I've done here with this Glock 19 is I've used just regular painter's blue tape, and then when I'm finished I use a clear tape to get rid of the grain lines that are in this blue tape, because they will show up on the inside of the holster if you're getting a good mold. So what I've done here, and I add blue tape equally on both sides during the process, and that's to ensure that, of course, it's equal on both sides. And right now I believe I have about 5 layers on each side. Now, as you can see, that puts me at about 23 thousandths oversized of what the actual Glock 19 is. And that's what I want when I'm molding a Kydex holster. That's going to ensure that there's not undue friction when the gun is being drawn or reholstered. Now, to kind of show you how I put the tape on, I'm going to use the 17 here. Let me zoom in a little bit. What I do is I just measure out the amount that I need for one side, and then I'll put it right at the bottom of the slide where it meets the frame. And now I'll start at the front and work my way back until I get to the slide serrations. And then what I do there is I just use a marker, something that's got a nice round tip on the end of it, and I'll work the tape in to those slide serrations. And then from there I roll it around the top, try not to create any wrinkles on the part that may end up showing an impression. So then what I've got, sorry I'm moving back and forth here, I'm just trying to give some good detail. So now that I've got this blue tape on, I've rolled the top edge so there's no wrinkles, and I've pushed in each of those slide serrations. And then when I'm done with that, that's when I put the clear tape the same way across through here. Now if you order these blue guns from somebody other than Rings, they're going to have the last part of the process they do to them is going to be what leaves a blue residue on the inside of your holster when you mold it. You can talk to them directly, and they will not put your gun through that last process if you request it, so that it won't leave that residue on the inside of the holster. However, if you do find another deal somewhere else, somewhere cheaper, I recommend go ahead and get it. That blue residue comes out really easy with some rubbing alcohol and some cotton balls. It'll wipe right out. Okay, so now that we've got everything set up and we've got it how we want it dimensionally, now I'm going to cut out for the ejection port. I don't leave the ejection port covered in this manner. I like for my holster to keep the appearance of a gun, yet I don't want it to interfere with the function of the holster. So what I do is I cut this out, just using an X-Acto knife. And then what I've done is I've taken 2 pieces of Kydex right here. I've got this one marked for Glock 26, however it will work for the 19 and 17. It's 2 pieces of Kydex I've glued together, and then I've used my Dremel to round it off on the top and then on the bottom to give it the shape of the ejection port. And then I just put this right in there. You can see there's a pretty good fit. And then I put my clear tape across this to hold that in place. And now there will just be a very slight depression right there where the ejection port is. But it won't be enough to interfere or add any extra friction that's going to affect drawing or reholstering of the gun. Putting that clear tape on. Same thing here. I do press it down into the slide serrations. I'm not worried about the front as much. I always leave the front of my holsters open. I do that for a couple reasons. One, it makes them easier to clean yourself, and then it also allows for any dirt and debris that may get caught up in there just in normal use. It allows it to fall out more freely. If the end of this holster is fused into one piece, then that also makes it harder for you, the user, to clean your holster. If you go to wash it out, if you go to blow it out, what have you, that debris can still get caught down in the bottom of that holster. So unless you request that the holster be completely fused on the bottom, it's going to be open. So just something to keep in mind. So there you have it, guys. There's this side formed up, and the same with this side. You can see that now the width is 1.025. Now you can get a cheap set of calipers either at a parts store or someplace that does it's got reloading equipment. You can normally pick up a cheaper set for $10 to $15. So it's not necessary, but it does help in making sure that they are properly formed up like they should be. So there you have it, guys. That's how I form up my blue guns for making holsters. If you have any questions, comments, if you'd like to see anything else that I do in the process, let me know in the comments below. Send me a message or shoot me an email. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope that it was helpful. And we'll see you next time.